My name is Shannon Lee West. At Central Studio, I'm a Pilates teacher. I am also the director of Pilates curriculum and community. And then through Core Dynamics and Central Studio, I am a Core Dynamics host studio mentor. I started my own Pilates practice when I was a young teenager as a sort of injury prevention and cross-training for classical ballet. And I have kept that up until now, so I guess that's 20-something years. I began teaching, I would say 6 years ago. I've been doing the teacher training now for 2 years. One of the best parts of teacher training is you're gaining so much information for yourself, for your own workouts, but you're also, just by nature of Pilates, learning how to take care of people and teaching people how to take care of themselves in a way that I feel is really profound. I always tell people that Pilates does 3 things. It combines strength, stretch, and control. And if you don't have the control aspect of those 2 things, you're not doing Pilates. It's a form of exercise where you have to have complete focus in order to do it correctly. There's never an end to the progression. Even as you advance more and more, the beginning exercises become more difficult. A little history background on Pilates in general. There are an agreed upon 6 elders in the Pilates world, people that worked with Joseph Pilates long enough that we all agree they are masters. The lineage that we follow within Core Dynamics is Eve Gentry. She trained with Joseph Pilates for 22 years. While she was with him, had major back injuries, had a double mastectomy in the 50s, lost all of her muscles in her back and chest, and he worked, hesitant to use the word rehab, but he worked to rehab her to be able to use her arms differently and connect better into her body after that trauma. So she moved to Santa Fe in her older years, and she taught many people who, interestingly, many of them also had breast cancer. And one of them was Michelle Larson. And Michelle Larson decided that there needed to be a teacher training program that honored Eve Gentry's work and what she brought to the Pilates method. And she started Core Dynamics. Michelle Larson has since retired, and Kevin Bowen is now the director of the program. So what's specific about the Eve Gentry work, each elder gave their contribution, and it doesn't change Pilates. Like, they did not reinvent anything. They just added to what they thought was missing. Eve gave us what we call the fundamentals, which is the first time someone comes into the studio, if you can't throw them into, let's say, the 100, what are the small things you can do to get them there? If you have a body that is injured or limited mobility, how can you modify and meet them where they're at to still help them have the benefit of Pilates and ultimately progress them? There's a greater emphasis on kind of an entry point. I think a lot of other lineages have a stronger focus on strength and power, which is wonderful and has a time and a place, right? But if you're coming in an older body or a deconditioned body, it's a more gentle entry point, and it's a way to, even with the advanced exercise, bring it back to something that seems simple and refine from there.
What can trainees expect? What do they need to mentally and physically plan for in their training?
There are 6 intensive workshop weekends. Those consist of 3 days where you come in as your cohort and you learn the exercises, you learn the meat of the work. Those span a little bit more than 6 months. So you'll have 1, then you'll have 4 weeks to do and learn all of the things that we worked on. First, you begin to learn all of the choreography of the exercises, the mechanics and everything. And then we'll start to train people to develop their eye. Like, what exactly are you looking for alignment-wise? What could be better? I think that's one of the things I love about it, is that in order to give my client the best lesson they can have, I have to be locked in. I have to get my little eagle eye going, but that's all taught. It's innate in some people, and that's wonderful, but it can be learned. You will learn almost every piece of classical equipment. You'll do the mat work, reformer, Cadillac, which people might know as a wall unit, the Wanda chair, spine corrector, ladder barrel, individual small apparatus pieces like a magic circle, and the pedipole. Your time in the studio is included in your tuition. You can come in, obviously when the studio is not crazy busy, and it's just free to you. Within the whole program, there are expectations for self-practice. So that's getting into the studio, can come in at any time, and work through the content on your own. Get it into your own body so that when you're explaining it to other people, it's familiar. There are observation hours where you come in and give you a worksheet on what to look for, and you observe seasoned teachers and how they have developed their eye, how they connect with clients, how they use the whole system within one class. There is a final exam. It consists of a written test, a program design for 12 weeks with any individual, and then a practical test where we observe you teach a 55-minute lesson to a body that you have not worked with before. Oh, and there's practice teaching, where at first you bring in people that you know and you just work with them, and over time you'll get fed clients from the studio. You need that when you're getting into the more advanced work. You need to have people who have been doing Pilates for a while.
Who's an ideal candidate for this teacher training?
We have had people who have been taking Pilates for a long time and decide they just want to deepen their own knowledge of it for their personal practice. Eventually, they usually move into teaching because they fall in love with it and they spend so much time doing it. Opposite end of the spectrum, we have a pelvic floor physical therapist going through the program right now, or personal trainers who are looking to integrate this work into what they already do. We also just have people who are looking for a total career change and moving into a field where they get to connect more with people and they get to just use their mind completely differently. The perfect candidate wants to learn, is okay and accepting of a rigorous program and challenges, and just has kind of a passion for movement and for people. I would say that the people who are not candidates for the program are people who haven't fully done the research and haven't considered how it would fit into their life and how they might have to adjust their life to accommodate it. It's school. You're in school. And I think people, when they're not mentally prepared for that, they get overwhelmed with the number of hours that it takes. It's 500 hours. The core comprehensive program is the one that most people do. After a core comprehensive program, you have the tools to get a job in a boutique studio. The full investment is $7,200. Core Dynamics will work with people's circumstances in life. There are payment plans. It also includes some semi-private lessons throughout the course of the program. Your cohort comes in, you have a specialized class just for those people. It also includes some deep dives, so you'll come in for an hour here and there to learn about like prenatal work or working with osteoporosis, equipment maintenance, the business side of Pilates. It is an investment. It can seem like a really big number, but what you get out of it is the foundation for a career.
How do you sign up?
There's an inquiry button on our website. You could also just call the studio, but it will submit your inquiry to us. We'll schedule an informational phone call with one of our teacher trainers. So you're speaking to one of the people who will be working with you intimately throughout the program. After that, you can ask all the questions that one might possibly have. We'll give you kind of a rundown on what to expect and when to expect it. Then interested parties will submit an application and we'll review that. Then we'll set it up.